Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being with us today. I think you said earlier that we're in active containment mode when it comes to the coronavirus. And I know there's work happening on a vaccine and other medical countermeasures, but right now, I assume you'd agree that we're dependent on the ability of public health departments to identify, quarantine, and monitor those at risk of contacting the coronavirus, and that it's really state and local public health that are going to do the lion's share of that work.
Oh, they're absolutely the backbone, and in fact, the state of Washington, and in particular King County, have been, as always, tremendous partners in public health measures, and wonderful to work with as we've been dealing with this.
Thank you. So after reviewing the supplemental request to address the coronavirus, there is light on details, and in just a few weeks of managing the potential coronavirus exposure in our state, the Washington State Department of Health has spent over $1.7 million. Snohomish County, in my district, which had the first U.S. case of the coronavirus, they spent $200,000 just to manage and monitor individuals who came in contact with that one person. And King County, which you mentioned, which is home to Seattle and the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, which is doing screening now, is spending $56,000 a day to identify, monitor, and quarantine possible patients. So my question is, can you give us a commitment that the administration is going to support backfilling state and local health departments for the work they're already doing on the coronavirus, as well as support them going forward?
So, of course, states are already receiving the $675 million annual payment for the public health emergency preparedness. I think Washington gets about $17 million for that. But the supplemental proposal does, in fact, cover and we'll work with Congress on what the appropriate amounts are. We've got, I think, over $600 million in there for CDC, but we'll work with you on, if more is appropriate, to support state and locals who are having to engage in added expense, hiring contractors, lab work, contact tracing. So there's no current mechanism for reimbursement like that, but we'll work with you on what the appropriate mechanism in the SUP would be for that.
In the Zika supplemental back in 2016, they backfilled state and local public health departments. Did you know that? So
we're not opposed to doing that. We're happy to work with you as we work on a supplemental package of appropriate reimbursement for states, if that's what Congress would like to do.
And that ended up being $44 million to those state and local governments. This is critical. These folks don't have lots of dollars to invest, and so I think it's important that we backfill, and I hope we have your commitment to do that.
The state and locals are the backbone of our public health response, which is the core to everything we have to do here.
So I didn't get a yes there, so I'm a little concerned, but.
I said we're in agreement. We want to
Okay.
work on the supplemental package to make sure the state and local governments are fully funded, including if there's reimbursement needed. We'll work with Congress if Congress wants to do that. We want to make sure the needs are met.
Okay. Also, I just wanted to quickly ask you, in the president's budget, NIH is cut by 7%, and given that there's been a bipartisan majority in the House to support increased funding for NIH because of the critical work they do, and we've done that consistently now. In fact, last year, this current fiscal year, increase of $2 billion, and that would take that away. How do you support supporting a decrease to NIH funding?
So Congress every year has been increasing the budget of NIH at rates that, of course, exceed the growth of revenue for the United States. It's 28% up since FY 2016, I believe. Congress obviously will make the final decision on this. I've got the largest non-defense discretionary budget. If I've got to meet a 9% decrease, NIH is the largest discretionary pocket of that. Obviously, we know Congress will make different choices likely, as they have.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.